What France are doing should not be legal.
And Dembele. And Mbappe! Elise allowed to go and feed it through for Bradley Barker. Elise. Oh, sweet, sweet. Mbappe is so sweet.
What we saw from Mbappe, what we saw from Olise, what we saw from everyone, it was just hard to ask for more from France.
French football has always been about its stars.
Mbappe hits it! Oh, what a strike!
With Zidane, it is! In the nick of time for France. The great man produces a great moment.
They let their top players lead and build the team around them. From Clairefontaine's goal-scoring dominance in the 1950s. To Michel Platini running games in the 1980s.
Platini takes, oh I say, that's magnificent!
To Zinedine Zidane becoming a global icon in the 2000s.
Dans l'axe Zinedine, le contrôle est
And now, the Mbappe era.
Here's Mbappe! Oh my word! Mbappe! Oh wow! He is an awesome force of nature!
Mbappe is the captain and face of modern French football. Watching him attack space feels almost unfair. The speed, the movement, the calm finishing. It's like Thierry Henry and R9 had a baby.
Like Thierry said, he will always score. He's only 27. He's gonna bring more goals. We said that Messi is gonna score goals, but in the end, Mbappe is gonna beat that record.
But the squad is so much deeper than just him. There's also Ousmane Dembele, who finally exploded into the player everybody thought he would become years ago.
And still Dembele! Dembele has bent in a brilliant goal!
After winning the 2025 Ballon d'Or, Dembele is now at the absolute peak of his powers. Then you add players like Michael Olise and Ryan Cherki into the mix. Olise plays with this calm elegance where everything looks slow and controlled around him. The way he manipulates the tempo and glides through tight spaces reminds people of Michel Platini. Olise's interviews, on the other hand, are very different.
Wow.
Then you have Cherki. He feels more like a street footballer. Tight control, improvisation, ridiculous flair, unexpected passes. The type of player who tries things most footballers wouldn't even think about attempting. There are moments where his creativity gives you flashes of Zidane. Then you have Doué and Barcola, two players who have been pivotal for PSG dominating club football. Les Bleus have always been a level above everyone when it comes to international football. They have a secret ingredient that allows them to perform every single time on the big stage. To understand why France are so successful, we have to look at the star power effect and the role it has played historically for the national team. France's first real golden generation came in the 1950s. Led by Clairefontaine, they became one of the most dangerous teams in the world. They made deep runs in back-to-back tournaments and built a reputation for attacking football. But after that, things dropped off. In the 60s and 70s, France struggled a lot. Most of their key players were past their best, and the team just didn't have the same quality anymore. They even failed to qualify for the 1962 World Cup and the 1964 European Nations Cup. It was a rough period. Everything changed when Michel Platini came through. He gave the team new life. His performances helped France qualify for the 1978 World Cup, which was their first time back at the tournament since 1966. After that, Platini became the face of the team. He was made captain and started carrying France in big moments. One of the key ones being the free kick against the Netherlands that helped them qualify for the 1982 World Cup. And in that tournament, France went on an unexpected run to the semifinals. Then came 1984, which was honestly the peak. Platini was unbelievable. He scored 9 goals in just 5 games and led France to their first ever major international trophy at the Euros. He was easily the best player in the tournament, and even Pele praised him, calling him the best European player of that era. But going into the 1986 World Cup, things were not the same. Platini was dealing with injuries and wasn't at his best. He still contributed, but he couldn't carry the team like before. And once that star power dropped, France started to struggle again. They missed the 1990 World Cup, got knocked out early at Euro 1992, and failed to qualify for the 1994 World Cup under Gerard Houllier. The failure was a huge shock and was even called Les Bleus' American nightmare. We saw something similar actually quite recently. At Euro 2020, Mbappe missed a big penalty against Switzerland, which led to a shock exit for the French. Now back then, Mbappe wasn't the same player he is now. now. Since then, he's gained a lot of experience and even led France to another World Cup final, proving he can handle the biggest moments. But it almost feels like a pattern with France. Every couple of decades, things begin to depend on the superstar. If he plays well, France win everything. But if he has a drop-off, the country collapses. After the disaster of 1994, France found hope again with the rise of Zinedine Zidane. The Platini era was over, but a new one was just starting. The squad still had experienced players like Eric Cantona, Laurent Blanc, and Didier Deschamps, but now they were joined by young talents like Zidane and Lilian Thuram. At Euro 1996, France made it all the way to the semi-finals before losing on penalty. But the big takeaway was Zidane. He showed flashes of how good he could be, even coming off the bench and scoring twice against the Czech Republic.
Attention, frappe et but. Oh, celui-là il est beau. Égalisation. Ouais.
You could already see a superstar forming. By the 1998 World Cup, Zidane was the main guy. There were other talented young players around him like Patrick Vieira, Thierry Henry, and Robert Perez, but everything revolved around Zidane. France went through the tournament unbeaten and beat Brazil 3-0 in the final.
Zidane! Lift off for France! Zidane! Lightning has struck twice!
That was a huge result, especially since Brazil had R9, who was seen by everybody as the best player in the world at the time. But Zidane was the one that stepped up and scored twice in that final, showing he was ready to take over the crown. Just 6 months later, he was named the FIFA World Player of the Year, and he just kept delivering. Zidane led France to another trophy at Euro 2000, making them the first team since West Germany in 1974 to hold both the World Cup and the Euros at the same time. They also reached number 1 in the FIFA rankings and won the Confederations Cup in 2001. This is the pattern with France. Usually when they win, it's because they're being led by a fantastic superstar. Back then it was Zidane, now it's Kylian Mbappe. But there is a downside to this approach. The team can become too dependent on that one player. We saw that in 2002. Zidane got injured before the World Cup, and without him, France struggled badly. They didn't score in the first 2 games he missed. He came back too early for the 3rd match, but it wasn't enough, and France got knocked out early. It was very similar to what happened with Platini in 1986. By Euro 2004, Zidane wasn't at his peak anymore. He still had some nice moments, like scoring a free kick and a penalty to beat the fish and chips lovers England, but France were knocked out in the quarterfinals. After that tournament, he retired from international football. Without Zidane, things got messy again. France were struggling just to qualify for the 2006 World Cup. They needed Zidane so badly that they had to convince him to come out of retirement. But when he came back, oh brother, he was cooking. He had an incredible tournament, won the Golden Ball, and carried the team to the final. In fact, he played so well that fans even forgave him for the crazy headbutt incident in the final.
Zidane is off in his final game, and that is the end of his career. And France will have to play the remainder of the game with 10 men.
But once Zidane retired for good, France went through another tough period. From 2007 to 2015, they underperformed a lot. At Euro 2008, these guys finished last in their group. I mean, this was a squad that had players like Henry, Karim Benzema, Franck Ribéry, and Nicolas Anelka. Yet somehow, they just couldn't win matches. Not only was nobody as good as Zidane was, but there was zero unity within the team. The same thing happened at the 2010 World Cup. France were knocked out on the group stage again, but this time it was even worse because of the drama. There were issues behind the scenes, no clear leader, and everything fell apart like when a fat kid tries to sit on you. Reportedly, Anelka was sent home after an argument with the manager, Raymond Domenech. The situation got so bad that Nicolas Sarkozy, who was the president of France at the time, had to sit down with Thierry Henry and ask him what went wrong.
The boss made his decision to not play me at the World Cup, and I will always respect and accept that. It wasn't easy at the time, but I don't regret anything. I think things happened for a reason, and I think for the French team and French football, it's time to move on and make sure that they can be again successful.
On attend beaucoup. Alors première question très simple, quelle est la première raison du fiasco?
La première raison du fiasco, qu'on n'ait pas bien joué.
The team lost its identity, there were issues behind the scenes, and it was an embarrassment for the country as a whole. The rebuild started under Didier Deschamps, and it was built around Antoine Griezmann. Like we see Mbappe now with the flashy name because of his goal scoring and explosiveness, but Griezmann was the balance and control for years. The man was doing everything, creating chances, defending, linking up the play, and holding the team together. Griezmann's impact was massive. Do you know how rare it is to have somebody be that technically brilliant on the ball, but also have him be willing to do the dirty work out of possession. He was the top goal scorer and best player carrying France to the final. By the way, I felt so bad for Griezmann that year. He lost the Champions League final, lost the Euro final, and lost La Liga. Everywhere that man goes, the team somehow doesn't win a title despite him being so good. Anyways, in the 2018 World Cup final, he scored and assisted, earning man of the match as France won the tournament. Over his career, he became one of France's most important players ever, not just for his talent, but for his consistency and work rate. He was arguably better than Mbappe, but there were just less people talking about him. Griezmann was an exceptional creator, a unique type of player who had excellent technical ability, but also combined it with an unlimited work engine. The perfect piece to link the midfield to the attack. But of course, once Mbappe arrived on the biggest stage, France only got better. In 2018, he was just a teenager. He was just Donatello, but he played like an absolute pro. His pace, dribbling, and confidence just stood out. I mean, I'm pretty sure the Argentina backline still has nightmares about his runs. He scored 4 goals and won the Young Player of the tournament, being one of the main reasons why France became world champions. That 2018 team, though, was stacked, because alongside Mbappe and Griezmann, they had players like Paul Pogba, N'Golo Kante, even Hugo Lloris was fantastic in goal, and all of them helped bring France back to the top. The baguette lovers were champions. At Euro 2020, France looked strong again. They topped a tough group with Germany, Portugal, and Hungary, but they were shockingly knocked out by Switzerland on penalties in the round of 16. Mbappe really struggled in that game. His finishing was poor, and the defense switched off in the key moments. 2 years later, they showed their true level again at the 2022 World Cup. France topped their group and made it all the way to another final. Mbappe stepped up all tournament. Him and Griezmann combined once again to elevate France to another level. In the final, the French team must have been thinking about croissants or something because they were non-existent for 70 minutes. And then Mbappe woke up and he just took over.
Mbappe, Thuram, Mbappe! Oh wow! He is an awesome force of nature!
He went head-to-head with the greatest player of all time, Lionel Messi. At just 24 years old, he had carried the team when it looked like they might fall apart. He won the silver ball and the golden boot. When Griezmann retired in 2024, it marked the end of that era. He left a huge gap, especially when it came to leadership and tactical discipline. Now players like Michael Olise are being trusted to bring back creativity and flair. The current France team might actually have even more talent than the 2018 squad. But the challenge is different now. It's not just about the talent. It's about replacing the balance and leadership that the other French teams had, while still letting Mbappe the dictator lead the team forward. Now France's success when it comes to producing world-class players isn't random. It comes from a system they built years ago to consistently produce top players. A big part of that is the Clairefontaine Academy, which opened in 1988 and became the heart of their development system. Clairefontaine is where France takes its most talented young player, usually between 13 and 15, and helps shape them into elite footballers. Most of these players come from areas around Paris, especially Ile-de-France, which is known for producing a lot of talent. But the key thing is how they train them. Instead of focusing just on winning at a young age, they focus on developing the player's skills. You know, the complete opposite of the Italian youth football development program. Players are taught to be comfortable on the ball, use both feet, and play well in tight spaces. They also learn how to adapt to different systems so they don't get stuck playing just one way. Maybe Ruben Amorim should be given some time at this academy to learn. On top of that, they still go to school and get an education, which helps them stay grounded and handle pressure later on. That's something that a player like Garnacho could have benefited from. What also makes France's system so good is how wide it reaches. They scout players from all over the country, including smaller towns and diverse communities, so no talent gets missed. Clubs are also required to invest in their own academies, which keeps the level high across the board. This system has produced so many top players over the year, like Thierry Henry, Nicolas Anelka, Kylian Mbappe, and even Blaise Matuidi. The biggest reason it works is because of the balance. Yes, they develop individual superstars, but they still teach them how to fit into a proper team. That's why even a legend like Zinedine Zidane or Antoine Griezmann can retire, and there's always another top player ready to step up and take over. You see it in every era. It was Jules Fontaine in the 50s, Michel Platini in the 80s, Zidane in the late 90s and early 2000s. Each time, France had a strong team, but it was that one player who lifted everyone else and carried the nation to glory. And history keeps repeating itself. We are now in the Kylian Mbappe era. The team is built around a superstar again. Mbappe is the center of everything. But now there are players like Michael Olise and Ryan Cherki and Ousmane Dembele who bring creativity and support around him. It's the same formula that we've seen for decades. The truth is that France will always produce talent. That's just how their system is set up. But what really makes them special is when one player rises above the rest and becomes the face of everything. That's what turns a good team into a legendary one. That's why names like Platini and Zidane are remembered forever. They carried the dreams of a country and delivered when it mattered the most. Now it's Mbappe's turn with his pace, the skills, the finishing. He will be the one that represents this next next chapter in French football. But his role is bigger than just scoring goals. He's the leader, the symbol, the player everyone looks to in the biggest moments. And with a squad full of young talent and experience around him, France are going to try and win it all. The legacy of Platini and Zidane isn't fading, it's continuing. And right now, it's in very good hands. To see what would happen to Mbappe's legacy if he helped France win yet another World Cup, you have to watch this video right here.